Okay, hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. Uh, just now I have uploaded that particularly, I have merged actually three paper. In particular, these are the three articles how to solve or how to find out the solution of a traveling salesperson problem using genetic algorithm. As I told number of times, there is a objective function. So both the papers, I think it's visible. I have shared the merged paper. It's a merging up three papers. I mean, it's a 56-page document, but the to look into that how, uh, I mean, genetic algorithm is used to find out solution to a TSP. One can very much compare to the dynamic programming and genetic algorithm depending on the effort and quality of solution. So it's an NP complete problem. The problem formulation, this is the ILP formulation. So we use very much similar to CI, J and XIJ. That means if particular path connecting to CTI to CTJ is to be selected, then Xij will be 1, otherwise Xij will be 0. So this is the formulation. You can adopt this formulation. This is the information available, and this will give you idea how people are simulating. The good paper is the second one is also good enough to describe various properties of genetic algorithm as well theoretically good. Uh, when they try to solve, this is a very simple formulation ILP of the traveling salesperson problem. Maybe some constants are not mentioned explicitly. Uh, so these all papers discuss how we are going to code and what are the type of crossover mutation is being used. Of course, it is the author's finding. That's why many people have solved, but it's a handy and you can look into that. And there is something is called a schema. Today I'll discuss what is a schema and what is a schemata theorem. That will be the last part of the genetic algorithm. Uh, so they explain very nicely the crossover mutation. Sometimes this paper will also help you as a notes to study the genetic algorithm. And then the third paper, which is a um, paper, if we look into this particular slide, is it visible? There are different type of crossover. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we talk about only two type of crossover. I mean single type of crossover, that is a we start with two individuals and we discuss on single point crossover, right? Now just you look into that, there are many type of crossover. This is also a finding. When people try to do it differently, they are finding the different crossover. You see in the second column, the quality of the solution and population size and what the author tried to claim. The solution which is obtaining is 420, but the quality of solution is good, that is 490. And my problem is a minimization problem. So this is the best solution with 420. This is the best solution with the 420, and this is obtained with a population size of 1000. So the author's claim comes that the type of crossover which is a age recombination. So when you study this type of paper, one thing you keep in the mind, you keep yourself open that how a new thought will come, how the new thought will come, so that you can find out a new solution. Okay. So this is a 56 piece material and nicely explained each and every step, the different type of crossovers used to find out the solution. The good thing is that the hand trace is also available. Okay. So there are many papers, but this is the best paper and comparative study and analysis. Okay, this I have uploaded. This I have uploaded. This is the third paper. Here I have found out one uniqueness. The uniqueness is that how to generate initial population. it is not exactly using the random number. It try to explore the graph property that if you are going to visiting from city A to city B, let us say there are three paths are available from B to C, B to D, and B to E. If three paths are available, so all three are going to be three individuals in the population. Okay, so I'm talking of initial population generation. So this particular paper explains the initial population generation. So which is very good. Now you look into this picture. Just this the last discussion into this paper. Uh, you see, this is the initial representation, and it uses a special type of representation instead of a string. That means once you look into simple genetic algorithm, we say the strings are subjected to the crossover and mutation. It is not like that. Any suitable data structure which you are using to represent a solution or an individual are subjected for genetic operation. So you look into this is a two matrix, you can say. One is upper triangular and the two different matrix representation, and with this they explain that crossover mutation of the two. So this is the unique of the paper. So three paper I have merged and I have uploaded into that. Rest part of the general steps of genetic algorithm is always simple. You are going for a representation, you generate a initial population, evaluate the fitness function, go for a selection, then allow them to reproduce with a crossover probability and mutation probability. Once the new generation is there, then again you evaluate the fitness value. You have to keep the population size constant and you move to the next generation. Okay, so this is uploaded. In addition to that, I have uploaded one more material that is related to that is the schemata theorem. So I think it's visible. This is a hand note. I mean, this is a collection from a web material. So here we try to talk about a theorem called schemata theorem. When the algorithm is proposed, as you have come through the genetic algorithm, there are many places whenever a decision is required, we are taking the help of a random number. So people start questioning the credibility of the algorithm because it depends on a random selection. So how by selecting randomly any decision required, you are going for a random number, and finally you able to find out a solution. So when initially the algorithm was proposed, there was no mathematical framework. So so there is a group of critics that what is the guarantee that you will get a solution. So a model is proposed, and the mathematical framework which is formalized by Holland and later by the Goldberg, which proves that there is a certainty, there is a high probability, just as we have discussed in case of conventional randomized algorithm, that we are going to find out a solution with a high probability. So that is being answered by the theorem, which is called schema theorem. Sometimes in the literature we call it as a schemata theorem, and this is proposed by the Holland. And this actually discusses a simple genetic algorithm with a representation. Maybe you can try out with binary and others. So this is going to discuss that there is a certainty. We'll discuss the whole paper, but this is a note. If you try to read from the PPT, it's fine. Otherwise, you can go through this document, that how they are going to preserve the good genetic material or good genes, which are producing good quality solutions, so that the good nature or good quality will be propagated from a particular generation to the next generation. That means we don't want to lose those individuals. They are, I mean, those who are producing best solution. So best individual as a group and best characteristic as a gene. That means if I, for a typical 0-1 knapsack problem, if I am expecting that I'll get the maximum profit by selecting first and second item, then I will put a constraint that any individual which is to be produced in future must have first two bits 1. This is all about in simple way about schemata theorem. With some restriction, we try to retain the good genetic material so that always you will be moving towards the objective function, to meet the objective function or the optimization criteria. So it may be, suppose there is a string of a knapsack problem for 10 item, out of which I want first two bits to be selected or first two item to be selected 1 1, then I want fifth item to be selected, so that is 1. So that particular pattern which we insist they are all individual into fall into that category. Their first two bit will be 1 and fifth bit 1. That is must. So that is known as a schema. So we'll discuss the complete schemata theorem. It is about a simple probability distribution and the conclusion which is known as the theorem actually. So he says that starts with a hypothesis, but it proves that there is a probability or a good probability uh, to get a solution with certain advisory. So certain advisory means that what should be the length of the chromosome, what should be the length of the population, what should be the length of the schema or order of schema. Based on that, a particular function is defined. So this also I have uploaded to the your class portal. So please check that. There is a GA schema theorem is the title, and with these two materials we'll complete the discussion, today's discussion. Now I'll be moving to the PPT where we'll be discussing the schemata theorem in details. Okay. I think it's visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when we try to look into a particular string, or as you say, a very simple way, let us look into a 0 1 knapsack problem, then my alphabet set is 0 1, and if I am dealing with 5 uh, items for a 0 knapsack problem, so length will be 5. So if I look into the concept of the language, that what are the all possible strings with 0 1, that is of 5 character, then I'll get a group of strings. So that is the, you can say, size of the solution space for 5 items. You can say it is 2 to the power 5. Okay. So now we are introducing the schema. So schema is a subset of the space. Space means we have 2 to the power n number of element. So schema is a subset of the space for all possible individuals for which all the genes match their template of a schema H. So as I say, I want all the solutions that where first bit is 1 and fourth bit is 1. And I don't care about the second bit and third bit, but last two bit will be 1 0, first bit is 1. So out of that 2 to the power n, here actually 2 to the power 5 solutions, if you look into the set that represents all strings that starts with 1 and ends with 1 0, and this H is a subset of the solution space or all possible solutions, or you can say all possible strings over 0 and 1 of length 5. Clear? So here what we try to do in a alphabetical notation, earlier we are allowing 0 1, now we are introducing one more element, is star. Okay, so string over alpha, that's why we are writing string over 0 1 alphabet L of length L. So length remaining same, here length is remaining same, but we are restricted the individual that first a bit is 1, next two bits as you can say can be anything 0 or 1, so we are using star, and last two bit will 1 0. So this is a schema. The idea is that instead of generating a population randomly, we try to impose a restriction that those things which are generated randomly must be fall into this schema, so that we are easy or with a minimum number of steps we able to optimize the function. That means I will select the first item, I will never select the last item, but I will select the fourth item, so that my profit will be maximized. Okay, but how this is decided? This is very simple. If you are going to the number of bits, you try to model it, what are the possible things are there. If you look into this corner 0 0, if you look into these three corners, first bit complement or second bit complement or third bit complement, so you'll be finding three individuals in the plane. In this direction also you are looking like this. So number of bits you can do the complement, so it will be connected to the kernel. Suppose 0, first bit complement is 100, this with last bit complement is 001, then middle bit complement is 010. So this based on this sometimes solution is modeled, because if you are doing binary, it try to the search space. Initially, the search space has got a use members, and the individuals is represented by the vertices. Schema, when we try to restrict, we say instead of searching on the cube, we try to search on a plane, hyperplane. So this is the model. So thus, instead of searching a cube or in multiple planes, if you are searching in one plane, the probability of finding the solution is first or less number of steps. So this explains actually the space, or one of the representation is better explained in terms of a hyperplane. So the idea is that instead of searching in a three-dimensional plane, we try to search on the hyperplane, so that we can able to reduce the search space. Basic idea with introduce of the schema, we try to narrow down the solution space, or you can say search space, with all the constant. You have a fitness value because some items must be accommodated into the knapsack. So based on that, you able to develop a schema. Okay, so you'll be finding most of the genetic algorithm which is discussed, or people applying to various problems, various go of life, they are silent about this schema. If you read a particular paper and you want to ask you whether you have used this concept, you will not find any information discussed in this paper. But when people are working to find out a better solution, and lot of work has been done, and it is not mentioned about any schema, and you understood, you try to design a better algorithm, you can peep into that paper, and you able to modify something or propose a schema by copying all the characteristic of that paper, but only you restrict with, you propose a schema and prove that with less number of iterations finding that quality of the solution. So the next important term is the schema order, or we denote it as a big O of a schema. Schema, I think I have explained to you. So let us, the schema is 1 star star 1 star. So here the order of schema is nothing but the number of genes in the schemata, because star represents anything I can select 0 or 1. So here 1, 2 ones are there, so it is 2. So now if you look into a schema in a traveling salesperson problem, let us say there are 5 cities A, B, C, D, E. So let that be a order, and I want the city C must be selected and city A must be selected. So my schema will be A star C star star, and if I'll try to find out the order, there also I'll be getting order of that thing. I mean particular schema will be 2. I say first city will be A, second city is star, third city is C, fourth and fifth city is star star. So that also gives me a particular schema where the order is found to be 2. It's very simple. Second is the schema defining length, or which is simple known as the length, that is represented by delta, and delta is correspond to a given schema. Okay, here in the example we have 1 star star 1 star. So what we are defining, the schema defining length is the distance between the last and first and last non-star chain. So first is the first position, and second position is star, third position is star, fourth position is the one, and that is the last position in the string with one value. So next is star. So the distance will be 4 minus 1 is 3. So that is denoted as the delta of H. So why these things are used? Suppose you are working against 2 or 3 schema. Which schema you will select? Which schema you will select, that is the finding or the recommendation of the schemata theorem. Whether you will be allowing more stars on a 10 string or you will be allowing the less stars in a 10 string, and then what will be, how the distance will be, a delta will be related to that. So the schema with short defining length, this is the last line which is written. This is actually proved finally, but this is now available as a advisory to you. It tried to say that you will follow schema with short defining length and low order with fitness above average population are favored by the GA. This is the finding we'll see, and that is nothing but the schemata theorem all about. Now we are coming across selection probability, crossover selection probability we have not discussed actually, not defined even selection probability. Crossover probability and mutation probability we have discussed, where what we try to do, we catch hold up to individuals whether we'll perform crossover or not. We generate a random number and we check that if that random number is more than the crossover probability, we are going for the crossover. Otherwise, we copy those individuals to the new population. Similarly, the mutation, we select an individual and then we ask whether I am going to mutate or not. And based on that, again, I'll generate a random number. I'll compare with the mutation probability. Then if it says it's more than that, I'll do the mutation or I'll not go for a mutation. So based on this, similarly, the first quantity, selection probability. Selection probability is all about you are looking into a group of individual and you try to select the individual. Because if you look into an initial population, let us say in that population there is a schema H. So HT is, you can say, the previous generation, or you can say with the current generation, then T plus 1 will be the next generation. Or for simplicity, we can say this T whenever we start with a parent population and T plus 1 is the next population. So we can calculate, this is expected value of, because this is your H plus T1 and we can calculate H comma T is the extra attribute, but H will be calculated based on this. Simple H will be calculated. H will be the schema proposed at T. This is a notation, not to be confused. Okay. Then we'll be calculating what is the number of members we are with that population. Then F of HT, then that is the frequency that particular thing is appearing divided by the average number of that particular schemata which will be appearing. Okay, we'll be coming to the detailed discussion. So this is a formal statement is appear. Sometimes it is confused how to know the terms, how to get the details of that. So here, before defining these things, we'll move to the different operation. We have defined crossover and mutation. And now the schema is description of certain patterns, bits in the genetic string. So here, if I'll try to look into 3, and maybe all these 3 will fall into one schema, and the string is belongs to, and then we can find that this particular string is belongs to any of the schema. Okay, so this is the way the schema is being defined. I think this is clear. Then once we look into the alternative representation, now this is the, again, it try to explain, suppose there are two individuals C1 and C2. So now if you will be looking into a individual may be fit into multiple schema. So the first schema, that these two bits are 0 0, so we copy this as a 0. This is 0 0 0, this is 1 1 1. So here I can select this can to be anything, either 0 or 1, or things. You may say I can fix it to 0. Answer is yes. So this is just to explain two individuals can be fitted into multiple schema. So when a multiple schema is there, we have a evaluation that how many such schemas are there to which we can evaluate. Okay. So this is a string S contains a substring, that is S is a solution space. Then we can define a multiple schema. Then basic idea, you look into the note, since two strings have three common schema each, making the total 6 schemata. For this example, if you look into this, the number of schemata is not one. The number of schemata, that is, there will be multiple H are available. So three common schemata each, making the total of the 6 schemata, processing a string implicitly, processing many more schemata. So that means the number of solutions exist parallelly, number of things exist parallelly, and this is because when number of schemata is going to represent different solution, so their occurrence we treat as parallel. So that means a solution is produced from three schemata, and that because it is from three schemata, we say three are in parallel. So as the three schema exist parallelly, so we say the schemata is the plural, the schemata represents the solution. So this is the example. We can say there are multiple schema available that represents a solution. So that is the inherent property or the parallelism. Okay, taking that into the concept, uh, we define, or this is the theorem which is defined. So that is, first one is the f of hi. There I have defined, now I am defining. Now hi is clear. You may have one schema, you may have a two schema, you may have a three schema. So if suppose you have a three schema, then it will be h1, it will be h1, h2, it will be your h1, h2 and h3. Okay, it will be your h1, h2 and h3. So now what we are going to do, we will define, let us say, three schema. T plus 1 I have explained that I will start with a population, and in the next generation, in initial population I have find three schema, h1, h2, h3. When I am going to the next generation, again I am finding those members are also belongs to the three schema. So here hi comma t plus 1 is in new generation, hi comma t is of the present generation. I'll just take a 1 minute break because Yes, you'll resume. Uh, so H HI is the individual schema. Let us say there are three schema as I have explained, and suppose in the current population that represent T, then how to evaluate? And then suppose there are three schema is available at T plus 1, we'll calculate the H, and we'll come to the next term. So what is f of hi? F of hi is the mean fitness of ith schema. Okay, mean fitness of the ith schema. Fi is the mean fitness of the population. So this is, you can very much compare if you look into the example of that finding the solution to the f of x square. So that is the x value and x square value. Let us say the fitness is the y equal to x square, or f of x equal to x square. So this will calculate f of hi. There actually what we are calculating, if you remember the first example, we are calculating hi for uh, we are calculating hi for all the individuals, h for all the individuals. Without a schema, we are calculating for all the individuals. Now we'll be calculating for selected individuals. Let us say population is 10, out of which 8 are coming under three different schema, H1, H2, H3. We'll be only calculating their fitness value, that is f of hi and f average of mean fitness value. Okay, next, delta of hi is the length of ith schemata that I have defined. L is the length of the string in the search space. That is, of course, is a fix. Suppose I am going for 5 item, it is fixed. Then OFHI, that also I have told you how to calculate the number of valid bits in the schemata, or number of, or you can say if I am going for 0, 1, this is number of 1. So these terms into a little bit of bigger problem with a initial population of 10 individuals, or you may go for a 0-1 knapsack problem with 10 individuals, out of which we are finding, let us say there are three schema, and to the three schema, all 10s are not fitting. We are only, I think 8 or 7 are fitting. Then for them, we are going to calculate. Okay. If you want a further explanation, I'll also discuss, because all these terms are defined. Again, I repeat, given population, we are finding three schema that represents the population. Not necessarily all individuals are fit into the schema. Let us say three are not fitting into the schema, only the 7 are fitting into the three schema. And we start with them. After reproducing, we have a new population. New population is denoted T plus 1. So we calculate this particular value. All this calculation has to be done. So this is the formulation. Then we are able to find out that what is the probability, what is the mean values to be find out. That what is the probability, what is the average possibility that we are moving in right direction. So what I mean to say, we can calculate this, we can calculate this, and here your PC and PM is nothing but the crossover and mutation probability. So that whenever we start a algorithm, we assume PC and PM, or if required, we are going to take the help of these things, how to calculate the PC and PM. So crossover probability PC, you calculated delta of H, and then you have a length. Suppose length of the string is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. H you have calculated using this formula, sorry, delta you have calculated using this formula. H is the particular schema. So you can calculate crossover probability and mutation probability. So mutation probability, we know how to calculate the order of H multiplied by the mutation probability. And as we know, this PC and PM, this is, we start with a guess, crossover probability with a high probability, mutation with a low probability. So it is all about hit and trial. And then similarly, we can calculate the selection probability. So this is very simple. You see, E represents, if you remember the basic statistic, this is the expectation, or the probability, or you can say the average. Okay. So this is the basic formula, and sometimes this is known as the schemata theorem. So what he tried to say, and then it is being proved. but we are using the finding of that. So we are not going to prove the schemata theorem. Sometimes the proof is asked, so we derive these things. So what it says, the above average fitness sought low order schema will have a large survival probability, and they will grow at least exponentially in the population. So that is the good quality solution. And what is a good quality solution? First, we have to fit them into schema, and their average fitness. That means when I'm calculating this mean population, suppose I have three schema, H1, H2, H3, and I am finding that H1 and H2 has a better fitness value in comparison to H3, then H1 and H2 has a higher probability to grow in the population. So any solution will be find out in coming generation will be fit into H1 and H2. Okay, so it says above average fitness short. Short means that the length of the schema should be short. So low order schema. So when I am calculating order of H, it should be low. Will have a large survival probability. So it says, suppose I want first item to be selected and second item to be selected. That schema must obey these things. Above average fitness, length should be short and its order should be low, so that we can carry that good information to next generation. That means I have to select the first item, I have to select the fourth item. If this is my requirement to have a better solution, it has to be carried. So it's a, let us look into this one, low order. If we look into the order calculation formula, look into this. It's we are calculating order. So when the order should be low, that means there must not be many bits which are to be fixed. There should be minimum bit is to be fixed. Suppose I look into a string of 10 character and I want order to be minimum, then definitely 2 bit has to be one, other bit has to be star. So this is one of the criteria. So this is, then again we are calculating the length. The length means if you want this length to be minimum and maximum, you can easily guess. If you want a minimum, if you want the length to be minimum, then definitely you are expecting the two bits will be conjugative to each other, then it can be minimum. Suppose let it be position 4 3, that is 3 4, let it be position 7 8, let it be position 9 10. So it will be minimum or it will be 1. Okay, so based on this thing as a finding, this can be directly adopted to genetic algorithm to retain the good quality of gene and ensuring that that gene will propagate to the next generation. So in summary, it's like this. This inequality holds with the above notation. This means that short low order average schemata receive exponentially increased trial in the subsequent generation of the classical genetic algorithm, and below average schemata receives an exponential decrease in trial. So our requirement is that only to adopt this computation to the population and incorporate to the genetic algorithm to save the good quality of population. This is in the only uh, requirement for us. Okay, so this is appears in a Goldberg's book, and I have shared that first material hand notes. So PPT is not required in that way. So we conclude like this. So finally, it is noted that the inequality was derived from a classical genetic algorithm described at the beginning of the selection, assuming that the fitness function is positive. A positive fitness function can, however, always be achieved using a suitable transformation, that is transformation from one generation to other generation. And inequality gives an insight how genetic algorithm works, why they can be sample big search space with very fast. This I told from the beginning, being a randomized technique, how it is going to explore the solution, large solution space to find out the solution. And then above average schemata receive exponentially increasing attention, and they are combined by the a genetic operator, you can say, is a crossover, but you can debate on the different crossover which one is. So in general, look into this, it's a framework, and there are a lot of open, or you can say there are a lot of possibilities there where you can try out the different idea. maybe type of mutation, maybe mutation probability, maybe population size, maybe type of representation you are trying, maybe you are arguing across short schemata or long schemata. So there is enough open variables to say that I have designed a different genetic algorithm. Remember, it always used to say, I told in one class, people says ki X has developed a genetic, also developed. So to defend that, one has to say, sir, my work is new because I have proposed this thing. They have not considering the schemata. I have reduced the number of generation and get the same quality result with less number of generation by introducing the concept of the schemata. Okay, to wind up, so there are a few concluding slides. The reproduction is a simple moving solution from one generation to next. The goal of the reproduction is keep the from the losing exponential string between the different generation, though it does happen. It happen normally during reproduction, but with the introduction of the schemata, this can be prevented. Since the fitness solutions are not automatically transformed from one generation to the next generation, they are only statistically are more probable than doing so. A level of diversity is kept within solution set while still leading to the more optimal state. That is also possible with a constant or a measure like schemata. Otherwise, in process of reproduction, you may lose that information, that you will be moving far away from the solution and you never got the solution. You look into a multimodal graph, you'll be finding, suppose some points you are working on a maximization, you are moving far away from the peak. So you will be out of the best solution. Now this is the comment on the crossover. This is equivalent to the process as it takes place the reproduction. A random position called the crossover is chosen again randomly according to their fitness, and the substring after the chosen random position are switched. Both the strings are then transferred to the next generation. What it says, parents and string both are we are transferring to the next generation. Then maybe due to the crossover we are losing some information, maybe we are disturbing certain genes, that the offspring which is produced is less fitter than the parent. Okay, so the crossover is important because it injects the new solution to the population. Okay, it injects new solution, but it may not be fit, it may not be a solution also. That's why it requires certain control mechanism that the offspring produced will also be a solution, and that is being carried out with a different crossover. If you look into a traveling salesperson problem, if you are using a single point crossover, then the combination of the cities what you are finding maybe so that a particular city will be repeated. So that's why the type of crossover, it talks about the crossover function. The designing a new crossover function is important because the crossover function only ensures that the new offsprings are also solution. For 0-1 knapsack problem, it is very simple. Any binary combination, you just break in between and join them, do the crossover, it will be a solution. Okay. And if your knapsack capacity, let us say, with a limited capacity, then you may finding that the offsprings may not be a solution because it may not fit into the knapsack. But the designing of a crossover function is important to ensure that the new produced members are meeting the condition or meeting the constant, or they are to be solution. Okay, so obviously the parent strings property is passed to the next solution. Okay, now the mutation. The mutation, as I've explained, the mutation in a single like, you can say we are going for the mutation just to overcome the situation where either we are landing into local maxima or local minima. Because in the process of searching, if I am finding all points are accumulated into a single place, then I have to do certain trick so that at least I'll guess few points out of that area so that I can find out the optimal solution. Okay, so this is again explained as I have said. If you look into the graph, and you are finding all the points are accumulated into a particular peak which is not the maximum, or we can call it as a local maxima. Okay. So the mutation is necessary because some positions or string may be static over the generation. That is another explanation. So we want to just flip one bit to make it dynamic. Mutation will in effect restore the lost solution. Lost solution here, what we try to say. Suppose as I say, you are always getting the new individuals. They are accumulating into a particular area, which may be a local optimum. To move out of that place, you have to do certain trick. By changing your 1 or 2 bit, you are able to guess a point in a different area. So that will help you to find out a optimal solution. Okay, I'll share a picture to again explain this thing. 1 minute, please. Yes, some problem is there, not getting the picture. Just hold it for me. Yeah, I'm not able to get the picture actually. Yeah. That's I try to copy the picture where the number of dots are there showing that the points are accumulated at with the local minimum or that. Okay, I'll be pasting one more graph to better explain this thing. Okay, so this is the mutation requirement is that in a single line you can explain that we may be losing information of certain genetic material which will lead to the optimal solution can be recovered by process by doing the flipping of 1 or 2 bits, and that we used to apply to only few bits. Okay, one of the first potential question that arise, how one string is related to the fellow string, since the similarity among highly fit can be exploited with help of a guided search. So when it comes to the guided search, we are looking into the help of the schemata. So that means if you will look into without looking into schemata, and if you look into the crossover, mutation, and all these three basic functions, reproduction, then here we are going to identify why we need a guided search. Look into the last line. With help of a guided search, that is nothing but the schemata theorem. Schemata for this purpose is a template, as I have explained. This single line, you remember, this helps us with certain guided search. Okay, it helps you certain guided search. So this simplification representation with a introduction of a star symbol try to put all the individuals into different framework. Okay, so then it reduces the actual population size by making into the groups, so that we'll able to retain the loose information. Okay, so this is the last part of the things, and as I say, very few people actually try to address the schemata concept in their genetic algorithm. I don't find even in the many applications like we use in case of the cloud computing and others, this is very rare. And the results which is appearing and the results which people are sharing, are also not explicitly saying about the genetic algorithm. And then sometimes we can say the growth, how how there is a growth is there of the schemata. So the schemata is uh, going or reducing, that also we can figure it out. I'll be sharing another PPT because there are 3 PPTs are with schemata. Okay, this I have explained you the next generation and the other generation. So formal statement, again we repeat this. I have shown you in the first one is the selection probability can be modeled with schemata, then the crossover probability, then mutation probability. Initially, when we talk theoretically, it is not mathematically defined. Now this thing is defined. The fourth point is the expected number of schema. You are started with 3 schema. Your expectation is that H1, let us say particular schema will be repeated many times in the new generation. So, and suppose you start with 3 schema and your question is which schema I will be using. Again, I repeat, you start with 3 schema H1, H2, H3. Your question is which schema I will prefer. So that can be answered by this fourth formula. For all the schema, that is H1, H2 and H3, you find out the expected probability. Whichever is found to be higher, you continue with that schema. Repeat again, there are 3 schema in your population, H1, H2, H3. I have told out of 10 members, only 7 are fit into 3 different schema. Fine. Don't worry about the 3. And then you need to select H1, H2, H3. So for H1, H2, H3, for all the 3, you have to calculate the expectation value. Whichever is found to be higher, they will be subjected. So if you try to simplify the schemata theorem, the more general schemata theorem is like this. So we try to find out first the reproduction ratio due to selection, that we copy from the previous formula, and the distortion factor due to variation or opposition or various operations, how it is going to divert it, and then we try to predict what is the probability that this particular schemata is will be retained in future generation. That means when the choice is given about the 3 schemata, let us say, we can find out which schema is to be selected. So out of the schemata, we can select this thing. So this is the reference, and this is adapted from the Goldberg's book. I have shown you that book by D. Goldberg, and that day I told you about this is the basic machine learning book, and only we need to remember this theorem. But as I say, people are not adopting this in conventionally when they write the program for genetic algorithm. You won't find, even I have said you 3 papers of solving the TSP, nowhere you will be finding this is being used or decided that how the schema is to be used. But this is required very much to design a best algorithm in terms of the least number of iteration. Okay, so this from my side on genetic algorithm and schemata theorem. I'll be loading only one PPT for schemata because those 3 PPT I have to merge whatever is required for you. And I think I have not uploaded other slides of the GA. I'll be doing that. So any other question? Any other question from your side? Just to, and the material today I have uploaded is must. Please go through that. That describes the details of the your TSP solving. That is must. We used to ask for few iterative steps. Let us say the questions are like this. We are expecting a coding scheme for a problem and one iteration. The way and for x square that is required, we want a hand trace for one iteration or 2 iteration. Okay. So any question from your side?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, what will be the basic difference between genetic algorithm and neural network algorithms? Because
Neural
we are
net.
starting
No,
with
no, no,
machine
no,
learning
no,
in next semester.
no. I don't know how the people, you see, for neural network is a pretty old thing. Okay. Everything is very, very old. Okay. So let me tell you, I have a presentation I used to, though I not predominantly come into that domain, but I have very basic slides on that explaining you that which contest you are selecting. These are the solutions for which context. 1 minute, there is some emergency again. Let me. Yes, please. Huh. So the first difference is that, okay, I love to discuss actually my concept before start up your machine learning class, or else I can discuss at any time. First, you see, whenever we are using a technique to solve a problem, my argument is, can you justify the need of that technique? I have to cut a apple. Can I use a sword to cut a apple? Can I use a power saw to cut a apple and saying that it is my style? Definitely not. Got it? When you try to solve a problem, you are picking up a technique, which technique is very costly and time consuming, and you say it is my style. So you cannot defend. And people sometimes did say problem solving using fuzzy logic. And those people understood the problem, they say your problem is not from the fuzzy system, but unnecessarily you are using a fuzzy. You see, any problem, you say machine learning, any type of thing is coming under problem solving technique. And we are discussing a problem solving, and I am telling you with 100% confidence, any problem you are going to do, Let it be a data science. For me, it is a NP complete problem. I can prove it. Got it? Okay. Terms. Okay. And how many power sets are possible? How many power sets are possible? I have 100 soldiers. I have a mission. I want a best group to complete that mission. How I will select? Yes, you respond. I'll clarify your basic things in machine learning. Yes.
Sir, first of all, we need to
You
have
need
a
certain evaluation. You need certain
yes.
evaluation. Okay. Out of 100, I want a group. I can select a single soldier who can complete the mission, right?
Yes, sir.
Out of 100, I can select any two soldier can complete the mission if I feel right. I can select even a 20 student, I mean to 20 soldier who can complete that mission. So what is the problem now? Problem is for me there is a exponential space. I have 2 to the power 100 combination, out of which one I have to select. Yes, got it? Or in case sometimes I need maybe there are 3 groups are possible. I want to keep my India team A, India team B, India team C. You have 1,000 players. Huh? How can you select? So there is a lot of work is being done in the classification and the selection. But if you'll ask, what is your problem statement? Very rare people explains. Okay, so when we talk about these techniques, okay, first to remember the most important thing is that when we go for machine learning, anything you have heard about that? When we go for machine learning.
Sir, actually, I did my BTech project on face detection and recognition.
No,
So there I
So
use
what?
machine learning
No,
concept
no,
to recognize
My
the patterns.
no, that again you are first. You let me. I want very basic thing. Very basic thing. In which context you will use machine learning? I told you from the beginning. Which context you will use machine learning? Okay, I'll just show you. I'll share one of my slide because there are 60-70 slides. So I used to do the presentation for other events. Maybe again tomorrow I have a presentation with different short-term courses at different places. I'll just once share one slide. Is it visible? Look into that. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Look into the bottom. Now you are working in dynamic programming. You are doing the first one, traditional programming. Okay, right? Solving a 0-1 knapsack problem using dynamic programming. Data is there. You have written a dynamic programming, take the help of the computer and you got the output. Understood? Right?
Yes, sir.
Next, what is the diagram shows? Okay, again some emergency. हाँ पंकज, morning. ଜାଣିଛି ସବୁ ଜାଣିଛି। ସେ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି ଯେ ସେଟା ତାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ଲିଙ୍କଟେ ସେ ପଠାନ୍ତି। ଟ୍ରିପଲ ଆଇଟି ଇଏ କରୁଥିଲା, କିଏ କହିଲ? ତମର କାଲକାଟା କରୁଥିଲା, ଏ ଯୋଉ ଟ୍ରିପଲ ଆଇଟି ତାର ଖଡଗପୁର ତାଙ୍କର ମେଣ୍ଟର ଥିଲା। କିଏ ଦବ ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ? କାହିଁ ସେ ତ ଫର୍ମାଲି ହଁ ତାକୁ ଡାଟା ସେଣ୍ଟର ପଠେଇ ଦିଅ। ତାକୁ ସେ ଆଗରୁ କହିଥାନ୍ତେ ସିନା, ମତେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଦେଖ ସେ ତାର ଲିଙ୍କ ଟା ଗୋଟେ ସେମାନେ ଦେବେ ନା, ତାକୁ କଣ ଲିଙ୍କ ମିଳିଛି କି? সেটা তো ଡନ୍ 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 ଦେଇଦେଲୁ ସରିଲା। ମାନେ ନା ଶୁଣ, ସେଇଟା ମୁଁ କହୁଛି, ଖଡଗପୁର ବାଲା ଏବେ ସେୟା କରିଥିଲେ। ଦେ ସେଣ୍ଡ ଏ ମେଲ୍ ଟୁ ମି, ଯୋଉ ଲିଙ୍କଟା ନାହିଁ, ହଁ ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟାଫଟେ ଦଉଥିଲା ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ, ସେ ଅତିନ ହେଲା। तो ସେମାନେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆପ୍ଲାଏ କରିଥିଲେ Yeah, look into this problem. What is the second block says? Hello.
So
What
we have data and our desired output,
means? What do you
and
mean?
and we want to
This
develop
is the fundamental. If you listen all the lectures of the machine learning class, you will be finding blah blah blah. But this is fundamental, and I met 99% people those who have no fundamental about machine learning. Machine learning is nothing to do with computer science. There is an advertisement, people are using that J tool, black box. Okay, fine. So it is related to the computer science because this is the presentation which I am showing you. Maybe this is designed for some other purpose like this. Then we talk about model. What is, if you look into this, a classical approach, the classical approach, the model is yours, like dynamic programming, genetic algorithm, the model is yours. You are writing the code. But in machine learning, you are not a programmer. A program is given to you. And you don't have any much scope to do the innovation because almost all areas, what a typical student uses is saturated. X has used, borrow the data set, do it. If you ask person what is your contribution, very, very rare people, you have to be very smart when you prove that I did it differently. So this is the fundamental slide. Okay, I am sitting at the top of 70, 80 slides, but if you anytime you want, I love to discuss. So this is key. If you remember, you will succeed. So what the second diagram says? It is insulting you. You remember, it is insulting you. It is insulting the fraternity of a normal programmer. Yes, the program is written by some smart program. So program is the output. You say, I am training a neural network. I am training a neural network. Then you are actually deciding the structure of a neural network, which is a program. Okay, in our days, we actually know why we are going for 3-layer perceptron. What is the structure of neural network? We know the engineering of that neural network, how to decide. Now for everybody, it is a black box. A mechanical is doing, a civil is doing, electrical is doing, a doctor is doing, we do not know anything. MBA people is predominantly aggressively using machine learning, and you people cannot catch the management people in machine learning. That is the reason your IIM Bangalore is leading in the nation. Many real world problems they have solved. So jobs are there, people are running after that, and so doing many courses. I don't have any say, but there is not much work as a programmer you have to do. And even BTech is not required to work with machine learning. You can train a intelligent person. He also do the classification by calling, writing the few lines. This is the reality. This is the, so this slide, if you understood, it's a machine learning. And but if you look into the genetic algorithm, it comes in traditional programming, and you have to write the program, right? And so what in the nutshell, we go for machine learning or this neural network and others when the functional relationship between input and output is not established. Because you can program S equal to UT plus half AT square because the formula is there. You supply the value of acceleration and time and as a data, write a program and you get a output. But when this functional relationship does not exist between input and output, I repeat, functional relationship does not exist between input and output. So we go for machine learning. Machine gives us a program. And as I saw that Goldberg book released in 89, title is machine learning. Now it is just a, people are doing a lot of hype after I mean the many problems they try to apply when there is no functional relationship. They predominantly using different classification techniques, and that's all. Uh, okay, so if
And also,
maybe
sir, can you help us to select our electives? Actually, CS branch has 4 electives, and we want to select only 3.
what are the electives actually?
So
I don't
first
know.
of all is machine learning, and then is natural language processing, which is I think related to AI only, and third is wireless sensor network, and fourth is real-time system design.
Okay, so actually in the present context, one should go for at least one paper related to machine learning or NLP because we are mostly looking for the jobs, so we want that skill set. Okay. Next is if you come to the core computer science, like you want a domain knowledge, like what are the subject you say? Real-time system.
So real-time systems, wireless sensor networks, and natural language processing.
No, NLP is more or less coming into one domain, machine learning and natural language processing. Both are coming into broadly into one domain, na? AI.
Yes, sir.
So one can go for that. So
And so between
you see
wireless
this,
sensor network and real-time
you
system design.
you you see these things. I'm sharing a slide. Okay. You see, I am not in a picture when MLDL, NLP, whatever is being offered by department. I used to love into first. My thing is computer science. Address the things I can fit into my domain. If I will be working on computer architecture, I can bring ML to my computer architecture. If I work on the cloud computing, I can bring ML and NLP to cloud computing. That is my area. That is the reason basic things I know. I'm in details, but I never focused myself or neither come into race while the papers are being taught. But I have my own control. I deliver
Hello,
where
AI
other.
is not possible for us.
Yes.
Hello, sir. AI is not possible for us.
AI? Yes, please.
AI is not possible for us.
AI is not possible. I'm not getting you. You want
The
AI as a
option AI is
subject
not
to you?
present.
Yes, I'm not
Yes.
getting.
Yes, sir, as a subject.
AI as a subject. You see, AI as a subject is very difficult subject. Any of you have studied formally AI?
Sir, in
Anybody?
BTech.
BTech, which book you have studied?
Sorry, forgot the name. It was a black book, White or Hall, I think the name was. I'm not
Alan
sure.
Rich. Alan Rich. Rich and Knight.
Yes.
Rich and Knight.
Rich and Knight.
So, okay, but Rich and Knight is a simpler book. We also study Rich and Knight, but there are two good books are there. I'll share those book detail information with you. It is difficult. It's not in that way flat one. A good number of mathematics are there. Rich and Knight is bit of, you see, we study Rich and Knight as a regular in 90. I study Rich and Knight in 1990. Okay. So before how many years? And after that, about 1 decade or maybe more than 1 decade, people are silent. So a group of batches coming out of computer science, we never study AI paper, and they study Visual Basic, etc., language and all those things. I don't know, it's a department decision who is going to offer. AI will be a very broad one, as you have seen in the diagram. Then we narrow down. We read one article in NLP. We read at that time, honestly speaking, we don't have any section in the AI as in machine learning, but we read export system, we study planning, robotics, vision. This all we have studied, except this last one, machine learning, in the book. We are being advised to use 2 or 3 books. One is by Richard Knight, another is just I'm missing the name, which is a very tough book. Actually, you need to. I have one class on pattern, the speech recognition and image. So this is the framework, but I think for BTech level, AI is being offered as one paper. Okay. So you can go for machine learning, you can go for NLP, and then these two are coming under one category, as I say, artificial intelligence. Maybe I don't know exactly. I hope they will be handled. There will be no overlapping. But as certain prerequisite is there, I think any of the paper must be covering the prerequisite. In earlier, when machine learning was not there, people are used to call it as a soft computing, where they start teaching from the Hopfield network and neural network, and then different type of neural network. At that time, Simon Hackens was popularly used by the book by neural network by Simon Hackens. And I don't know what book is being followed. I think machine learning, they are using Mitchell to study the machine learning. But you must take machine learning, and NLP also is predominantly some applications are being used. So NLP comes next. Then, as you say, what is wireless and real time?
Some main confusion between wireless sensor networks and real time system design.
You see, these are from core computer science. So for me, ML and these things are not computer science. So that is depending on your test. Suppose somebody tried to apply machine learning to some of the problems in wireless sensor network. The idea is like this, you see. If you are a civil engineer, you know about your system. Then if you are learning machine learning, you are actually able to apply machine learning to your. Okay, got it. So both the comes equally. If you will ask me honest unbiased opinion, both of the comes equally, or either you can go for wireless or you go for real-time system, because you will get one domain knowledge where you can apply. Now let me tell you, recently the wireless controllers which are designed, wireless controllers are cloud-based controllers. And when I was listening to the Juniper, the company who is offering the latest solution, they are saying our wireless controller is driven by machine learning. Got it? And if a Juniper like company require an expert, he require a person should have a knowledge in machine learning as well as in a wireless network. So Maybe similarly for real-time system also might be some product is there. I don't have any idea, but this I think I can share you this. So both are coming equally. If you'll keep machine learning and NLP, then you can go for wireless or we can go for real-time system. Okay.
Okay,
Hello,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
We have for IS we have the same doubt regarding two subjects. One is intrusion detection and another one is linear algebra.
You see, linear algebra was a compulsory paper for us. Huh? At that time, we are wondering why we are taught about linear algebra. Got it? When we were studying, linear algebra is a compulsory paper. But if you talk to a typical mathematics people, I mean traditional university, in a graduation, then they covered the linear algebra fully. But what is lacking there? They don't have a direct application. Okay. If you come to the internet coding or coding patterns or transformation, and look into that cryptography, when we look into the basic things, we cover their group ring field. If I say I want to design a secure system, and that is the basic paper on top of which your cryptography or the security sits on the top of linear algebra. You need to know group theory, you need to know ring theory, field and Galois field and all those things. I don't know what is exactly the contents are covered. But for me, it is a prerequisite or basic paper, and that is a must for if somebody try to enter into the deep into the security framework and try to design the new things that provides you mathematical base. What is the next paper?
Sorry, intrusion detection.
Intrusion detection system will directly come to the application. I mean, comparison between intrusion and linear algebra. Linear algebra is a base paper like discrete mathematics. Okay. Discrete mathematics. Intrusion detection system, this is becomes a specialized, whether you talk about in general intrusion detection system or you try to map the intrusion detection system to a wireless network, to a wired network, to a body area network, maybe to any network you can apply. What are the intruder, and for intrusion detection system, what I feel, somebody must have a very sound background on the network layers, and he can able to say in which layer which threats are there. So intrusion detection system is also a good area. But as you are from security specialization, I think equally preferable. Linear algebra is something, it depends on what is the content actually. Fortunately, I studied linear algebra. I know what are the sections. But when we were studying, we also questioned why we are being studied this paper. What is the application? You see, predominantly it is statistics, mathematics, and if you ask me honest opinion, we must have one paper on. Have you seen the book by Mathematical Probability and Statistics? Any book?
No, sir.
Any of you have come across a book by K.S. Trivedi? It's a very old book. K.S. Trivedi, Queuing theory and others, that is required. K.S. Trivedi, Probability and Statistics with Reliability, that is the book by K.S. Trivedi. So that is also covers all these things. Kishore Trivedi, you can check his profile. Presently, we are doing something with probabilities, something statistics is required for machine learning. People find it difficult to pick up. Many things are there. Many things are there. So I don't know, depends on availability of the faculty and studying. Just I have shared the book. Please have a look. Okay. You must know whatever is being offered, you have to take, but you must know the domain knowledge of this book. See the book, Probability Statistics with Reliability, Queuing and Computer Science Application. You check the profile of the person, Kishore S. Trivedi, is a very learned man. India also. You see the thing. So this requires a lot of basics to be covered, which can help your machine learning and other papers, because basic probability statistics has to be well covered. What I can suggest, if you are going for any NPTEL course or Coursera, please try to take a basic probability and statistics paper. That will have a value addition to you when you work on any machine learning problem and others. That everybody should do. Probability statistics paper, either you do it with NPTEL or you do it with Coursera. That will be my important suggestion for everybody. Because this semester you should target at least for one paper.
Sir, actually CS people have linear algebra compulsory.
Okay, let it be compulsory, fine. But this I am looking into that, whatever my group or my juniors and others, those who are predominantly in the industry, they say कि you must be good in fundamental. So this is a fundamental. Linear algebra, let it be good. I say now, we study as a compulsory paper, linear algebra. Okay, because of my course and others, I have studied 2 papers. Even I am very good on linear algebra in terms of theorem proving and others. And the book which we follow, that is Ian Hestein. Ian Hestein, we completely study whole book for a 50 marks. Once you see the book, your temperature will rise. Lot of theorem provings. Lot of theorem provings, use of problems. I don't think that much extent is covered, but let it be compulsory paper, no problem, no issue. Intrusion, because frankly speaking, I never gone through the content what is being delivered, because this is a respect to the professional colleagues, because whoever is the best who is teaching on that. But my overall suggestion that one must go for this paper. If it is available in Coursera or in NPTEL, any module, you go for any probability statistics paper. You will definitely have a value addition. Because when we talk to someone, what is a chi-square? What is a hypothesis testing? What is a null hypothesis? People are working on a thesis, presenting a work. One of my student, your senior, he says, sir, I did 2 or 3 courses in machine learning. I say, let us start the work. I have assigned him a problem. I'm very much open on that, very much vocal, right? I ask him to do something on software-defined network using machine learning. And sorry to say that he is busy with all those things. He's a branch topper. So on that point, I'm very rigid. I didn't even love to discuss with them. Those who will not do the work. I ask him certain fundamentals. You covered machine learning. You tell me how you will do a new work. You did 2 courses in Coursera and others. Then when we understood, he started confessing. Then I find that the basic things is that he has also not covered the fundamental things. So try to get into the fundamentals. My suggestion is this one. Maybe in the course of time, I'll tell you the other things. And that's why, unless and until you complete your semester exam, I'll Saturday from 9 to 10. Sometimes I'll discuss something from your course and anything we can discuss. Okay. You start it with machine learning, then if any input is required. Of course, predominantly the professors will cover the various technical things, which is, as you see, my presentation, always I look into that, how we can solve real world problem. Maybe you can say, why not I am going to solve a traveling salesman problem using machine learning. You can himself answer now, because you know the formula. You have an input. Now you can write a program. That is the reason machine learning is not required. Okay. Maybe if okay, any other question? I'm continuously getting phone calls. So anything you want to ask on your topics? If you record, I can share my slides, but sometimes it will be overlapping. I don't want to slide because I practice in some area. So you go for either, for intrusion detection system, it is a specialized one. And once you take a intrusion system detection system, please try to fix off your thesis work or something related to that area, so that you will enjoy the particular theory and as you able to apply to your thesis work. Linear algebra is fundamental one that will provide you the base so that you can work on any security system. Okay. Security is one of the even demanding area, but few specialized companies are doing the practice. I mean the softwares. Okay. So.
Hello, sir.
Okay. Yes, please. Yes, please. Bolo.
Sir, can you suggest, sir, some of the fundamentals course or things that should be learned by a computer science student to be a specialized in particular domain or general domain, sir?
No, see,
Some fundamental things.
fundamental means that you see the programming is
Means like the probability, linear algebra.
Probability statistics in present context, Ajis look into the dominant jobs in machine learning and others. So machine learning, you are getting the exposure from your theory paper. So probability statistics you learn. But if you say ki I'm interested to work on something related to the architecture, something related to other areas, then I can suggest. Even if you want to listen to the people, if you love to listen, I can put the people's those. I mean, those students are in touch with me. Maybe they have completed PhD. Now they are doing the postdoc. One in Australia. I mean, in particular, my students, those are in touch, and many people are there, but they are not in touch. When those people are in the touch, if you want to listen to them, I can pull them to the team meeting, and you can ask them. Maybe from January onwards, if you want a session, I can do. One of my students, he was working on, we used to work on the modification of the core of architecture, CAS modification and others. He did MTech research, then he joined to the Australia, got a full fellowship, and he worked on some bioprocessor and others. He is there. Another is with a top university of UK. He was in Australia also. Deepak, I can pull him. I mean, few of my students still I enjoy control over them. They are great people, but I enjoy a control over them. Another is there in US because because I'm grateful to them. They intimate me all their progress. The day they awarded the degree, the day they joined to any other courses, they keep me updating. That's why I feel I can request them, can you come in a session or a question answer session and talk to the people. His name is Arnab Paul. He was also a student, but interestingly, he was an MTech student pursuing information security. I think, no, software engineering, I think, Arnab. And then he did a thesis in cloud computing. Then he moved to the US. And whenever he comes to India, he comes to the institute. Arnab Paul. So he will be available just to listen. We'll arrange some meeting. You listen to them. I mean, they are better people to advise because they are proved themselves in a different environment. Maybe it will be a good if we'll arrange a meeting with them. I'll do that. These two people I can arrange. Huh?
Yes.
Let them.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So, but by the end of this 12th, we are expected to choose our electives.
No, I'm not talking elective you choose, as I say, elective you choose. But what I said ki in a professional field, always you need to, what I meant to, need to discuss with something, with those people who have established what's going on in the world, okay, how they able to prove themselves. So that is a different thing. Elective, as I say, na, you go for machine learning, NLP, these are related to that. And somebody says no, I'll be compatible with either ML or NLP. I'll be only selecting wireless network. I'm selecting both wireless and real time to have a wider scope on the computer science domain. Fine. It's not a issue. ML is, I think, compulsory. You must have checked the timetable. ML is
Yes,
common
sir, that's
to
compulsory for IS.
no, for everybody, I think it's compulsory.
Yes, sir. ML is compulsory.
Virtually it is compulsory. ML is compulsory. And regarding intrusion detection, as I have said, that when we are going to intrusion detection system, you must focus on that particular area. You can do the thesis. Okay. Or if you are taking linear algebra, it's a base paper. So from base, you can migrate to anything. This is the way I view. I mean, it's my personal view. If you want to capitalize that, I mean, whatever I learned in the theory paper, immediately I want to work on the next. You can do that.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sir, does intrusion detection system needs any prerequisite, like are we expected to have some basic knowledge for that?
Honestly speaking, I have not gone through the course content what the professor is supposed to cover. I can talk
Sir, I
to.
have that content on my screen. Can you share my screen?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, sir.
This is intrusion detection system course.
Yes, sir.
You look into the second paragraph. There are certain words are appearing. It is again repetition of something is coming under your machine learning, that is pattern matching, rule based, state based anomaly detection, statistical based machine learning, data mining, hybrid detection. I don't know. Then tired architecture. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is when we talk about single tier, multi-tier, peer-peer, and and these two, when we to talk about single tier, multi-tier, peer-peer, this is something comes to attracts me because this comes under distributed system. Uh, because the intrusion detection system sits on the top of a particular architecture. You are designing a security system with a multi-stories building with every room has 3 doors, every room has 1 door, every room with no window. So depending on your threads and others are different, right? A building with a single gate, a building with multiple gate, it's like that. Okay, we can discuss and maybe we can meet. If you are free, we can meet sometimes. So I'll schedule it. But it's good. Okay, it's good and intrusion detection. I mean, can you move off? Any book is suggested? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
I have moved down. Yes, sir. I have moved downwards, sir. It will take a minute.
Okay. Okay. No, I don't have any idea about this book. No, I don't have any idea. But my suggestion is like this: if you are taking a paper intrusion detection, then somebody should carry that info things to the thesis work so that you did a basic work and you did a thesis on that. Okay, intrusion detection. That is
Okay.
my suggestion. Otherwise, it sometimes becomes a burden. You are learning a paper and next semester you are not appreciating yourself. Why I have learned this thing. So try to go through some intrusion detection thesis from the early stage so that you can able to map. If you want any suggestion, you are welcome. I can share some thesis what we have to completed on intrusion detection. So that whatever you are learning, you are focusing again on the thesis, so it will be comfortable for you. You did a clear cut, and what I am finding this is difficult for me. There is a honest confusion. I work in a particular area. When I got a student allotted and he don't have any fundamental on, let us say, on cloud computing, so he feels suffocated, he feels he's not interested, and something. He'd come with a very close mind, sir, I'll be only doing machine learning, arguing with the teacher. I say, fine, you do machine learning, but you do machine learning is an application, it's a tool, you do it into a particular area. Now you see somebody is doing intrusion detection, you have enough scope to apply machine learning because your course itself says that. You have got to set up data. Look into the second paragraph as you have shown me. Okay. So this is, as I just say, my suggestion is that when somebody is doing intrusion detection system, not everybody, a good number of people should work on that area towards the thesis. Okay. Any lab work is there?
Oh.
No. Okay. ठीक. Okay. No, if you have any query, actually, even Saturday also I am available from 9 AM. So we can discuss. Okay.
So for IS, we are having only two compulsory labs. One is network security and another is machine learning laboratory.
Okay. The machine learning laboratory is good. In security also some good algorithms are covered. That is good. Labs are okay. Labs are okay. That will be good. Huh? There's it covers many security tools which will be required if you want to go for a thesis work. SNOT and other tools are covered. Okay. Okay. I'll take a leave.
Thank you, sir.
Answer. Okay. Thank you.